right? We not having that. We want to build a community, forever. Kids win, we win. Period.
So, first episode, AM University. The reason I started this podcast / show was because I think people talk about like retarded things when it comes to basketball, like things that don't even like matter. Like what I mean is everybody want to talk about like who the top 5 NBA player, like who the best player of all time. Like stupid stuff that don't even really matter, right? Like, so I started this podcast because I want to get down to the foundation of basketball and what's important. So I thought it was no better person to interview or have a conversation with than Syreeta Brittingham, mother of DJ Wagner. I feel like moms are not talked about enough when it comes to high-profile athletes. It's always about the dad, it's always about the trainer, it's always about the coach or whatever like that. But if you think about it, moms are the foundation. Moms is there every single day, giving the kids the values and the morals and the principles that they take with on the court and throughout life. So I felt like it was no better person to have first on this show than you. So, Syreeta Brittingham.
So, thank you for having me, Twan. I don't do anything like this, but because it's you, I'm going to do it because it's you. And I just support everything that you're doing, like with the whole AAU thing and trying to develop these young men into men, from young boys to men. I just support everything that you're doing with that. So anything that I can do to help you out with that, like I'm willing to do it. So of course, you asked me for an interview, of course I'm gonna give it to you. Nobody else can get this but you. Hey, so
I'm glad you're here. All right, so ever since DJ came out the womb, I always and I asked you this question a whole bunch off the air, but I still can't wrap my head around it. So you got a kid that since he came out the womb, he was, by everybody else's eyes, destined for greatness as far as with a basketball, right? He's lived up to all the expectations. Playing against higher competition in AAU, on a 29-1 team where he was the leading scorer as a freshman at Canada High, USA Basketball, and ESPN last ranked him the #1 player in the country at his position, right? All impressive stats to the rest of the world. But what was always impressive to me is if you see this kid off the court, right? You would never think that that was that kid. Like, and what I mean by that is like a lot of kids with far less talent is way more cockier, right? And they got a way bigger head than DJ. But if you have a conversation with this kid, it's like, he's unselfish, he's respectful, he has all these manners, like he doesn't carry himself like a superstar off the court. And my question to you is, like, how did you do that? Like, because in 2020, to me, like that feat is almost impossible because it's too many things coming at you telling you how much you demand, and things like that. And as a 14-year-old kid, it has to get to you some way. And this kid is like a machine. It doesn't faze him at all. And I know that comes from the foundation that you laid out. So, like, how did you do that?
I didn't. I'm not going to take credit for anything. It's him. That's just his personality. That's just who he is. He's just a loving, kind kid. Like, what you see is what you get. Like, the way he is outside is the way he is at home. Is the way he is outside. Of course, I get some of the attitude. I get some of the other stuff because I'm his mom. Like, we get it all as parents. But he is who he is. Like, he's been that way since forever. But I think it's just that in my house, it's not about basketball. Like where we live is not about basketball. Like, he's loved. Like, we're family at home. Like, basketball is probably just who we are on the outside. But in home, it's not basketball. It's love. Like we're loving each other. Like we're a household who just like love each other. We're playing nonstop. Like our household is full of jokes. I mean, of course, when it gets serious, if I need to be serious, it gets serious. But other than that, it's like DJ's a big jokester. I'm a jokester. Stink's a jokester. My daughter is. Like we just it's just love in the house, and we just have fun. So maybe that's what keep him grounded as a person outside of basketball. Like while in basketball and outside, we just love each other and we just have fun. So maybe that's what keeps him grounded. But he's the same person he's always been. So it's just
it's incredible to look at. She modest. She not taking a lot of credit for it, but that's incredible to see. Which goes into my next question. Like and this like it always bothered me since I even played at Camden High. Like what do you do with the leeches? Like it's insanely like creepy to me, like seeing grown men that just I don't know, they just jump on these high school athletes like it's the end all be all. Like it's like really weird to me. Like I mean I get it, because it's so much of a business, but it's like I could talk forever about that. I hate that. But what do you do with your family to like you already said y'all close knit. So what do you do to like just stay away from that and just put it in perspective, because it's not going nowhere, right? We know it's not going nowhere. It's going to be there, So what do you do to put it in perspective and just take it for what it is?
Well, at this stage in his life, he's 15. So as far as the leeches, I don't think we've really experienced that yet, or I don't think we've experienced that, because everyone in our life is family and friends. And if you're a friend, you're a family. So, and then, he comes from a good foundation. So it's like, I'm there to protect him from stuff like that, that comes with it. But I don't think we had that experience. Like his dad is there to protect him from that. Like, Wani been through this. So it's like that foundation there. So everybody that's around, everyone that comes around, everyone that's near us is genuine love. At least that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like I don't think we've ever experienced anything like anyone being leeches or anything like that. But yeah, he's only 15 years old.
Right.
So, it's like everyone around us is genuine. It's just a genuine support. It's just genuine people that genuinely want to see him win, people that are happy for the city, and want to see the city win. And so as far as our family and our friends, like I haven't seen any of that. Even outside people, like I haven't seen any of that or experienced that. Yeah, I just think as of right now, it's genuine, and people really just are happy to support and happy for the city and happy for like to see somebody win, a young kid win.
Let me ask you that. Let me ask you that question. How you feel about that happy for the city type of stuff though? Like, again, to me, for me personally, when I was playing, again, that always creeped me out like a little bit. Like
happy for the city?
Let's say you're a 37-year-old man that got a regular 9 to 5, right? And you have a good or bad day if Camden High wins or loses. I don't know. That's creepy to me. Like these are high school kids.
Well, see, I don't know about that part of it, but when I mean about like something for the city, it's like this is Camden City. Of course, we're publicized as just being a bad city, one of the worst cities in the world. So when you have something so positive like that, like, oh, this is a basketball player, and this is not just him individually,
right,
but this is a basketball team who's winning and is bringing so much light and positivity to the city.
Right.
And it's just like, that's what I mean by for the city. It's something positive for the city. And not only that, it's so many young boys in the city that are looking up to this 15-year-old that's taking something positive from it. So many young boys and a lot of people who, the support was there when his dad played. And it's like, it's like a kid from Maryland. It's like they called him the Crime Stopper or something. Like when he played games, crime rate was down in the city. And it's just like that's the kind of the same things as like I feel like for our city. It's like, when basketball is involved, like the city support. The city is like, it's like a big reunion for the city, and everybody go out and support, and it's just a fun time. That's what I mean, something positive for the city and shedding positive light on the city. And if that's something that can be done in DJ's name, then I'm all for it.
And we don't have enough of it.
Exactly.
And we don't have enough of it, so it just happens to come through basketball.
Exactly.
I understand completely.
Yeah.
When I look at DJ, only all I could think of is as far as how grounded he is looking at Kareem, which we call Stink. I think him having that older brother protects him from a lot of different things, and you could just see how strong their bond is. you know, when they with each other. He's currently at Kentucky right now. How do you feel about that?
As far as their bond, or just having a playing a role in DJ's life?
Both.
Yeah, their bond. Stink and DJ is like this. Like, their bond is just unbreakable. Of course, he's probably like feeling some kind of way right now with Stink going to college, but Stink has just been like that older brother that's just like an amazing role model for DJ. He's been his biggest competitor. Like, you know, I feel like with Stink, he's helped DJ become the player that he is, meaning, you know, since they was like 7 and 4 and 5 and 8, you know, they're in the gym and they're playing with each other and they're playing against each other. And it's so bad, we're so competitive, where they're in the gym and they're fighting each other. Whereas like everybody else is in the gym laughing, and I'm in there threatening to give out beatings, but this is how competitive they were towards each other. So they made each other better. So, you know, when it came to Stink, he was his older brother, and although he was younger, he wanted to beat his brother. And, you know, Stink gave it to him as he was just a player on the street. So they've always been competitive with each other to make each other better. But their bond, their brotherhood is stronger than anything I've ever seen. Like, they're really best friends, which I'm blessed to have two amazing sons to be best friends, and Stink to be that role model for DJ.
That's incredible.
So, and even with him going to Kentucky, that's an inspiration within itself, because he's in college. You know, he's gonna hopefully play basketball, but even so, just him going to college is another inspiration, and just like that role model to be like, oh, my brother went to college, I want to go to college as well. So, you know, it's just, he's inspiring not only DJ but his younger sister too.
So I say, you know, he's not coming back, right?
I know.
He's not.
I know. You don't even answer the phone.
But that's a beautiful. But that's a beautiful thing, though. You know, because again, like, a lot of us take these things for granted. Like, where we grew up in, like, what is it, 9 miles in Camden or something like that? Like, we really think this is the world.
Right.
Like, the entire United States of America, we think is in this 9-mile radius. Right, so when we see things like that, it just sparks your brain about things that was already there. Right. You know, we just we couldn't work those muscles in our brain and things like that. So, like, looking at him, again, he's not coming back. He looks so happy at Kentucky, you know, and that's all I think about is all the diversity that he's seeing, whether it's good or bad. You know, he's seeing different. Right, and it's so dope to just see that, you know. So I'm so happy for that man, and just looking at him and DJ, you know. I know that's why, you know, their bond is that strong. So next question is, so again with looking at DJ, right? When I see DJ play on the court, right? It's only a couple other people I've seen like this when they're entertaining, because basketball is entertainment. So, Kendrick Lamar and Beyonce, right? When I see them on the court, or on stage, like they change gears. And like what I mean by that is, like, to me, they're like DJ. They off the court, they're the most humble, you know, polite, well-mannered people. If you look at Beyonce and Kendrick, they don't really want to say much or whatever like that. But when they get on that stage, like, they turn into a monster.
Oh, you know, I know about Beyonce.
Like, and it's so, like, that Sasha Fierce stuff, like, that stuff is real. They turn into a whole different person. And when I look at DJ, that's one thing that I'm like, that's not normal. Like, how can he just turn that gear like that and just be ferocious, like in a good way? Like, I want you to talk about, because a lot of kids don't understand. A lot of kids want this this life. Like, they think they want it, right? But I want you to talk about his work ethic a little bit, like, and how hard he trains to be this successful at this stage in his career.
But you know what's fun is so real too. Like, him turning it on stage, and then, you know, on the court, and then when he's off the court, he's just like the most humble kid in the world. It's not for show. It's not for the people. Like, it's so real. That's just who he is. His work ethic, the kid works hard. Like, he works hard. He's been working since he was younger. So it's just like everybody feel like, oh, he just have natural God-given talent because of his grandfather, because of his father. And that's not true. Like, he put in work. I remember one time he was going to the gym, and sometimes, of course, as his mom, I got to step in and be like, no, you staying home today. Or maybe he was at the gym once already today, and he's trying to go for a second or a third time. And I'm like, no, you staying home. And one time he told me, I think he wasn't at the gym at all this day. And I told him, you stay at home, like, you know, just to spend family time. Like,
Right.
we're watching a movie or something like that. And he's like, come on, Mom, you messing up my greatness. Like, I need to go to the court. You messing up my greatness. And of course, that's his mom. I'm like, boy, sit your ass down. Like, messing up your greatness. Like, sit down. But his work ethic, he works hard. Like, he works hard. Like, it's not one day that boy don't wake up not wanting to go to the gym, not wanting to be in that gym just to work out and work on his game. Like, he really, like, what he's getting and the, you know, the recognition that he's getting, like, he works hard for what he did. Even as a little young boy, though, like, he always was in the gym working all the time. Like, we lived in the gym. Like, whether it was me, whether it's his dad, like, we're always in the gym with him and Steve. Like, he works hard. He does.
I really think like 90% of the kids don't understand that.
Right.
Like, and it's like everybody they think they want to be in DJ's spot. Like, because forget the work, just stepping on the court and having that type of pressure
Right.
on you.
Right.
Like, I remember I had a kid a couple of years ago. We had no point guard, right? We had no point guard. We had to start this kid. He was a sophomore. Could only go right, couldn't go left, and he got destroyed that whole year. But we had no choice. We had to play him, right? Going into the off season, I said, all right, you got to do this, and this. He looked at me dead in my face, yo. He said, I'm not playing no more. I said, oh, okay, you taking a year off? I said, so you taking a year off? You taking some time off, and you gonna come back? Okay, that's fine. You got 2 years left. He said, no, I'm not playing basketball anymore.
He quit.
He quit entirely.
Wow.
And said, I don't never want to pick up a basketball again in my life. And he told me because of the pressure that came with it in those games, you know, between us, you know, yelling at him and the crowds and things like that. He said, this is way too much, you know, and I think a lot of kids, they think they want that until they step on that court. Like, you play against a Camden High, bro, you playing against 6 people, and the 6th person is the crowd. If you're not ready for that, bro, like, it'll destroy you as a kid.
Right.
Forget the training, which is a whole nother monster, you know? So, like, you saying that about DJ, I think that's like really important, because they don't understand it. They don't understand it. So another thing is, just to piggyback off what I just said, he gets everybody best shot. Every day is Christmas Day when you go against DJ Wagner now, because again, he has the name, he has the rankings or whatever like that. You know, every day is Christmas Day against him. How does he prepare for that? You know, again, as a 15-year-old kid, like how does he remain focused on the task at hand and prepare for getting everybody's best shot? Doesn't matter the skill level of the kid or the team or the coach that he's going against. Everybody knows they're playing against DJ Wagner. You know, so how does he prepare for that?
I think that's a question more so for DJ, but as his mom, I will say, I think he just go in the game playing like it's a game. Now, whether it's the next person's best shot to come at him because it's quote unquote DJ Wagner, that's something that they have to prepare for. You know what I'm saying? DJ just go into every game playing like this is just another game. Whether he's playing against the #1 kid in the country or whether he's playing against the worst school in the country. He's going in it as this is just a game. I'm going in here to do what I love to do. I don't care who I'm playing against. Like, it is what it is. I'm gonna do what I love to do. I'm gonna do what I want to do, like, to have fun, because he love it. And that's it. Like, I don't think he think of it different, like, oh, it's the pressure. They're coming up. They think they're coming up against the best players, so I gotta prep, you know, any different or prep harder, or depending on the school or the kid, I gotta, you know, prepare in a different way. No, he just come in there thinking that I'm just playing another game of basketball, something that I love to do. And he said in one of his statements that I'm doing with my brothers. Like, you know, he considered his teammates his brothers. So it's just something he loved to do and something he loved to have fun doing. So I think when you love it and when you're having fun with it, it's not really preparing for it. It's just going out there loving what you do. The preparing is practice. The preparing is everything else. But if you're going to do what you love to do, then there's no prepping for a special game or a special player. So.
And it's all this. Everything is the same because you prepare for it.
Everything is the same.
Like,
because even during this whole quarantine period, he wasn't asleep. Like, he ain't home chilling. He in the gym every day, multiple times a day. And then if the gym is closed, he at the courts. Like, you know, a trainer is having him at the courts. So he working out and he working hard, just as if he gonna play a game tomorrow. So he's still working.
And the reason I'm asking you these questions, and it's kind of generic questions, because what you saying is so rare, and I really want people to understand this part of it. Like kids and parents don't understand what you saying. You want your kid to be in that limelight. You want your kid to start. You want your kid to get these many touches and these many shots. But are you putting the work in? Your kid can't even go left, bro.
And as a parent, you have to put in the work too, because although I don't have to tell DJ to go to the gym, or first of all, I'm not going to tell him. If he could say he want to quit basketball today or tomorrow, and guess what? I'm going to support him 100%, and so is his dad. His dad going to support him 100%. This isn't something that he has to do.
Right.
This isn't something that he's forced to do.
Right.
This isn't something that he's pressured to do. He's doing it, and that's the difference too with some parents. He's doing it because he want to do it. If he said it today or tomorrow, like, I don't want to do it anymore, I'm going to be like, cool. Why are you going to be like, cool? All right, you don't have to. But if I do see that this is something you want to do and this is something you're passionate about, it, you're going to give it 110%. That's just like with school and academics. You're going to give that 110% regardless, because I just don't play that. But, you know, he was working out once a day, and I'm like, D, I see you starting to get a little dusty. like, I'm going to have you do, like, you're going to have to do 2 a days now. So now I'm reaching out to coaches like, listen, he needs 2 a days. Like, we're going to take him in the morning, and then, you know, he going to get back in the gym at night. So it's like, come on, Mom, you tripping. I'm like, no, I ain't tripping. Like, this what you want, right? Like, so I'm going to make sure you stay on top of it. So as a parent, if this is what your kid want, support your kid. But sometimes you have to be proactive for that kid and speak up too.
So you on a boat of, all right, you said you want to play basketball. So we're going to be great at it.
So you're going to be great at it.
So we're going to be great at it.
Exactly.
Because that's something that you said you wanted to do.
Exactly. If you want to be a doctor, you're going to take those classes, but you're going to get good grades. You're going to be great at it. You're going to get A's in these classes. If you don't want to be
great at it, then don't do it.
Exactly.
Then don't do it, period.
Exactly.
And like that goes into the last question I want to ask. Like, how you, let me just, how you feel about basketball parents as a whole? Like, because you go to the AAU circuit a lot, so I think that's probably the worst. You know, everybody can hear you at AAU games. Like, you can't necessarily hear people at high school basketball games, right? So you see the worst. Everybody's kid is the band, quote unquote, to them, right? So you see a lot. So how you think about parenting in basketball and where it's at in 2020 as a whole?
I'll say this with parenting in basketball: it ain't easy. It ain't easy. Like, just as much work it is for the kid, it's a lot of work for the parent too. Like, you put your blood, sweat, and tears into this shit. Like, you sacrificing your weekends, especially with AAU basketball. Like, you know, you all over the country, like different states and everything. You sacrificing your weekends. You're sacrificing your girl time. You're sacrificing birthday parties and family time and things like that, because, you know, every weekend you're probably away. Like, you're sacrificing work. You're sacrificing sleep. You're sacrificing your other children and what they have to do. It's like, I remember working a 12-hour shift, 7P to 7A. And then DJ had an AAU tournament in Maryland. And I think probably by 11, 12 o'clock, I remember getting off of work, 7 a.m. in the morning, getting DJ. We drove down to Maryland, straight for me getting off of work. I think I took a nap in the lobby. And then when the game started, went into the games. And not only that, I have 2 sons. So I had 2 sons that play AAU basketball. So even for like me and my entire family, like, we're going from, say for instance, Stink have a game in King of Prussia at 10 a.m.
Right.
And then DJ have a game in Cherry Hill at 1 p.m. or 12 p.m. So we're back at Cherry Hill at 1 p.m. But now Stink got another game in King of Prussia at 4 p.m. So now we're back in King of Prussia. So that's the kind of stuff you're dealing with AAU basketball, and then having multiple kids. And then sometimes you in AAU basketball, you got a game at 10 in the morning, 2, 6 at night. So you're literally there all day, and that's your life. AAU basketball, that's your life, what you sign up for, like, on the road. And then it's not easy. It's expensive. It can be expensive. So you're paying for rental cars, you're paying for hotels, flights if necessary. Like, you know, so it's hard.
So in general, does your son, not DJ, does your son, in your opinion, have to, because I'm investing all this time into AAU, have to go to that next level from it, or B, do they just have to have a good experience? I've seen a lot of parents that they don't even care if their son plays. They just have to have an amazing experience. And I've seen the flip side of this has to get you a lot better for what's next.
I think it depends on the parent and it depends on the kid. you have some parents that are just like they're in it, and it's like maybe their kid isn't that good, but it's just something their kid want to do, so they're supporting their kid. And then I've seen the flip side too, where parents are probably more invested in it than the children are, and it's like, all right, the parents are like they have to get a D1 offer from this, they have to be great because of this. It just depends on the parent. But I think I will say this, if you're doing all of that for AAU basketball, is a difference between them just playing high school basketball. So if you're doing this for AAU basketball, I will hope that as a parent, if you're doing this, that kid is at least really interested in it. That kid is at least passionate about it. It's something that kid really want to do, and it's not just a hobby and something they just interested in. I hope that their kid is really invested in it and they really want to do that. Because AAU isn't like, it's not like high school basketball. Like you can go get on a high school team and then it's a parent that comes support, and that's it. AAU is like really an investment in your kid. So it's a lot. Like I'm not, if I felt like my kid just wanted to play AAU basketball for the fun of it, I don't know that I'm supporting it 10,000%. I am going to support it 10,000%, but it'll be more of a local AAU team. You get what I'm saying? Not a travel AAU team where we're going to different states and paying hotels and everything else. Like it's going to be more of a local one than it is a travel team.
Hey, listen, to me, if you traveling, like, this is a business.
It's a business.
So you got it. And that's messed up to say to a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid, but you got to treat it as a business. Because of what's being invested.
We have fun on the road too. So it's like, it's a business. You're coming down here to get the job done and play a game, and you ain't winning everything, but it's like to go against competitive teams and different teams and be in different states. That's cool too, because why is the AAU tournament, why is the AAU game? It's also a vacation too.
Right.
So we do things while we are at AAU tournaments. They go swimming, and we do other things that are like other activities that these boys are still enjoying themselves, because let's not forget they're still kids, right? So I
hope we remember that.
Right, and I think a lot of people forget that these boys are still kids. Like although they're 15 and they may be big and 16 and they look like men, they're still kids. So at the end of the day, they still want to have fun and they still want to have other activities besides just being down there for basketball. So we incorporate everything with it to make it a fun time. And like even the road trips, we make it like just fun and memories, and we just laugh and we sing and we do everything to make it memorable. But the reality of it is we going out there for business too. Right. So do what you're supposed to do on the court, win, lose, or draw, because you ain't going to win everything. Just play your heart out. Give it your all, and if you lose, that's cool too.
It's balance.
Balance. Exactly.
Balance.
Exactly.
Last questions. I mean, speaking from your perspective is a lot, but what advice would you give a parent that has a kid growing up similar in the position that your family is in right now?
Meaning, be more specific.
Meaning, again, there's a lot of different tiers it is, but the limelight is on their son. Just it could be locally, it could be nationally, but the limelight is on their son. And I'm asking you this question because I feel like a lot of families don't know how to deal with notoriety because of social media. And things that's not even merited. To be honest with you, it's not even merited. You did nothing really in the grand scheme of things, but you got this article written about you. You got this Instagram post that went viral, and now everybody loves you. And it goes to everybody's heads. So just in general, what would you be your advice to a family just dealing with that in general?
Remain true to who you are as a person, as a family. Remain the person or the people that you were, the family that you were before getting a notoriety, before getting the merits, before the hype was on you. Not necessarily that you are the hype or you're taking the hype taking the hype in, but before that the hype was put on you. Remain true to who you are. Don't change who you are. Like remain humble, remain a good person. Don't let it go to your head. Like just know that you're great, but it can always be somebody out there that's coming up that can be greater than you. So never stop working as the kid. Never stop working. Keep working as hard as you can. And as far as the parent, remain a parent. Remain a parent, because at the end of the day, that kid is always going to need their parent. And if their parent change or switch up or flip things because they let in the hype or the notoriety and everything get to their own head as a parent, then what you think it's going to do for the kid? So just remain true to who you are. Like I said, in my household, in a house, we're not really basketball inside the house, outside of basketball, outside of AAU, outside of, you know, basketball games and all that. We're not really basketball in the house. We probably don't ever talk about basketball in the house. Like, you know, we're in the house like play fighting, where Stinking DJ is jumping me as a mom, or, you know, like we're in there fighting each other, or we're in there cracking jokes or playing games or doing TikToks with my daughter. Like, that's how we keep it normal. And that's not even trying to keep it normal or forcing it. It's just who we are. It's just who we are. It's just normal for us. So if I'm giving advice to another parent, just remain true to who you are, and don't switch up. And if you don't switch up and you don't change, then your kid don't switch up and your kid don't change. So remain humble and remain thankful. Because let's not forget, you don't have to be in that place. You don't have to be in that place. So you're in that place because somebody wants you there. And by somebody, I'm saying like God. Like, but if you cocky and you too cocky and you feel like, you know, you getting all this notoriety and this is what you're supposed to get because of your talent or because you're talented, that can easily be stripped away from you too. And I make that very clear to my kids too. Like, you know, don't get big headed. And then in my house, like, I don't care who you think you are. You still my kid and you still just a little guy here. So don't ever let that go to your head. But I never have to have those conversations because they never go there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that humbleness and that true person that you see off the court, that's really what you get every time. So that's pretty much it.
That's it.
Yeah.